Good morning, everybody, and welcome to your Monday morning kickstart. I hope you all had a fantastic weekend, and let's get this week off to a flying start. So, first off, the news for this week. A couple of new things in our news. Number one, book club. So for the past couple of book clubs, so for those of you who don't know, those of you who are new to the course, every month we read a book and we alternate with a self-development book and a novel, a fictional book. Every month we read a book, and then at the end of the month, or the start of the following month, we meet up just to have a bit of a chat with it, about it, to share our ideas, talk about the common themes in the book. So it's a great way to boost your vocabulary. It's a great way to help practice writing reviews. Many people write reviews of the book that they were reading. And of course, to get that kind of specific vocabulary to give opinions and talk about something. So one of the things that came up over the past few weeks is that a lot of people really wanted to attend the meetup to chat about the books, but that they hadn't finished reading it yet. They were only kind of halfway through the book or 3/4 of the way through the book, and they couldn't attend the meetup because obviously we're going to talk about the end of the book during the meetups, and we don't want to give away any spoilers. So for the past 3 months now, we've not had anyone who's been able to actually attend the book club chats. It's just been me chatting away on my own about the book. However, I had a lot of people saying, I really want to attend, but I've not finished the book yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend the book club. So rather than having a new book every month, which is about 10 pages a day of reading, we're going to change it to every 8 weeks. So about 5 pages a day of reading to be able to finish the book in time for book club. Sorry guys, I just had to pause there for a second. A big giant tow truck has just pulled up outside my house, and they're towing another truck. It's like a truck on top of a truck. It looks like, I don't know, like it looks like a digger or something. So I'm being nosy and seeing what on earth they are doing, and they're being very noisy as well. So if you're hearing any background noise, it's the giant tow truck outside my house. Anyway, I've gone off on a tangent. To go off on a tangent when I start speaking about something completely different. I've gone off on a tangent. I've lost my train of thought. I've forgotten what I was talking about. I've lost my train of thought. Book club. So, book club we're going to do every 8 weeks instead of every 4 weeks to give you time to finish the book. So our book for this month is Michelle Obama's autobiography. Love this book. I love Michelle Obama in general. So we will be reading this book, and we'll meet up at the end of November, the end to mid-November, so in about 8 weeks' time, to chat about this book. So you only need to be reading about 5 pages a day to finish this in time for our chat, our meetup. So this is first piece of news. Second piece of news is that I'm making a few updates to the writing course. So as you guys know, there's lots of grade A examples in the writing course for you to have a look at, to get some ideas about what to write and kind of what's expected in the exam. But I will be updating these with some of the students who have recently passed their exam with a grade A. I will be popping some of their writing tasks into the training as well, so that you can have a look at some of the most current kind of grade A pieces of writing and what's expected in the exam. Okay, so I will try and put those in for all pieces of writing: essays, reports, proposals, formal letters, informal letters, and reviews. And that should hopefully be in the programme by the end of this week, if not the start of next week. So that's our news. My kind of hack of the week or kind of theme of this week is falling off the wagon. To fall off the wagon. So a wagon, if you don't know, a wagon is like a cart that if you're on a horse and the horse is pulling that wooden cart with wheels behind it, this is called a cart. Carriage is the one that would pull people, so that's covered, no? And a cart, it would generally be one that would pull vegetables or hay, bags of sugar, whatever it is, in the past, okay? So a wagon is kind of in between the two of these. A wagon you would see in the country and western films, the cowboy films. So people sitting at the front of the wagon on a seat, and then they'd maybe have it covered in the back with their storage of whatever they wanted. So this is a wagon. So this is a long-winded way to explain what to fall off the wagon means. To fall off the wagon means when, for example, if I'm on a diet and I'm being very strict with my diet and I go crazy at the weekend, I'm like, I can't take this diet anymore. I'm going to eat 20 Snickers bars and an entire tub of ice cream. This would be to fall off the wagon, to stop doing what you're supposed to be doing. Or if you're an alcoholic and you've been sober for 3 years, but you fall off the wagon, that means you started drinking again. Okay, this is to fall off the wagon. So in terms of Cambridge Advanced, if you're studying every day and you're doing everything right and everything's going great, but then one week or one weekend you're just like, I give up, I don't want to do anything, and you do absolutely nothing, this is to fall off the wagon. And so the opposite would be true if we return to our normal routine. So the alcoholic who's been sober for 3 years, they fall off the wagon for 1 week and they go a bit crazy, but then they get back on the wagon again, to get back on the wagon to return to sobriety. So for you guys with the exam, if you fall off the wagon, you maybe have 1 or 2 weeks when you like hate everything and you never want to speak English again and you're throwing books around, and then you get back on the wagon and you return to your study routine. Not to confuse this expression to fall off the wagon and to get back on the wagon with another common idiomatic expression, which is to jump on the bandwagon. To jump on the bandwagon. Now, this means something completely different. This means to follow the latest trend, to do what everyone else is doing. And to say the opposite of this, to jump on the bandwagon, so to do something just because it's popular and fashionable and it's trendy, everyone else is doing it, we're following everyone else. The opposite of this would be to go against the grain, to go against the grain, to do the opposite of what everyone else is doing, or to swim against the tide being the sea when it's going in and when it's going out. If you swim against it, there's a strong current and it's very difficult. So to do differently to what everyone else is doing. Okay. So what I want to talk about though is falling off and getting back on the wagon. Okay. So this is very common, and I'll speak about it with dieting. I fell off the wagon a bit last week. My trainer at the gym went on holiday for a week. So instead of doing my own training at home and sticking with my meal plans and everything, I fell off the wagon. I was like, screw it. Well, if he's not going to open the gym, I'm just going to do absolutely nothing for the week and inhale bags of Maltesers. And I went to a car boot sale at the weekend where there was a British woman selling pies, British pies. I was like, I shall have 4 of those, please. And I just completely ruined my diet and fell completely off the bandwagon. Fell off the wagon, even, not the bandwagon. And the thing is, in the past, if I fall off the wagon, I would generally stay off it for months. And it would take me a very long time to get back on the wagon again. And I could absolutely ruin all my efforts in that time. However, today, first thing Monday morning, first thing I did was message my trainer. I was like, Sergio, book me into the gym this evening. He's back from his holiday. So the first thing I did was book that appointment at the gym for this evening. I'll tell you how that goes later on in the week, if I can still walk after a week of not going to the gym. I booked that in, and then I booked in all my sessions for this week. I am going to the supermarket this evening, off to Mercadona, and I'm going to buy all my usual diet food, my meals that I usually eat during the week to keep me on track, to keep me on the wagon. I'm going to do that so that I am back on track. So this is something that I want you to think about with your studying. If you fall off the wagon, that's totally normal, that's totally fine. But it's how quickly we get back on it, how quickly we can get back to our normal routines. So there's a couple of things that really help me and that I would recommend for you to, number one, stop yourself falling off the wagon in the first place, and to get you back on it faster if you do fall off. Okay? First thing is, don't go crazy with your studying in the first place, because we tend to fall off the wagon when we're being extremely strict with something or doing something extremely intensively, which we cannot maintain, in which case we burn out and we fall off the wagon for a week, a month, 6 months, however long it is. And then we do the thing intensively again and we go backwards and forwards. So if we're dieting, this would mean yo-yo dieting, being really strict and then binging. So I would say the same thing with exams. A lot of people, when they first start a new course, get really excited and really motivated, and they're like, I'm going to study for 7 hours every single day after I've worked a 12-hour shift, and then I'm going to do some extra podcasts and reading and this and that, and then I'm going to sleep for like an hour and a half, and then I'm going to start it all over again. This is great. I love the enthusiasm. I love the motivation, but it's not sustainable. If you do this, you'll manage it for maybe 1 or 2 weeks, maybe even a month, and then you'll burn out, you'll fall off the wagon, and you'll stop completely. And then what will happen is, by the time you want to start again, you kind of have to go back to the very beginning because we've forgotten everything. We need to build those routines again. And this can create this on and off studying pattern that can leave people preparing for the exam for years and years and years. I would much rather that we studied little and often, consistently, but something that is achievable for you, something that you can maintain for a longer period of time. So for most people, that's about an hour a day is a kind of happy spot, a happy place where this is achievable. For some people, it might be a bit less. For some people, it might be a bit more. And that's totally fine too. But please don't put yourself in a position where you're going crazy and you're going to burn out. Okay? So this is the first kind of tip I would give you to not fall off the wagon. So for me and my dieting, it's not going from eating 500 calories a day to do things faster to then eating like 4,000 calories a day because I was sick of the 500 calories a day. It's eating around 1,500 calories a day, which gives you that gradual weight loss rather than going to extremes. Something I find very difficult. But that's for another story. So same thing with you with your studying. Second thing is thinking about what is your minimum viable day, or what is your minimum viable week. So if we think about, I'm just using my diet example again. So my aim is to walk 10,000 steps a day. That is my, like, on a good day, when everything's going well, when there's no surprise problems at work, 10,000 steps is my goal. However, it's not always possible for me to reach that. If I'd have to do extra things, if they've got lots of new students starting, I've got lots of study plans to create, I may not have time to do that. So I have what is my minimum viable day, or my minimum viable steps for the day, which is 8,000. So that I know that, okay, 10,000 is the goal, and it's great if I get there. But if I hit 8,000, that's totally fine as well. And that's my, like, there's no excuses. I have to hit 8,000 in the day. And this gives me this window. Right? So anything between 8 and 10,000 is good. And for me, this makes things much more achievable on my bad days, rather than saying, I didn't get to 10,000, so I'm just not going to walk at all. Then I still do a little bit, and I still do something that's bringing me towards my goals. So for you, what I would think about is, what is your minimum viable study time or thing that you could do every day that's not going to take too much effort, that is reasonable, that you could complete that even if we have a bad day. Because what's easy is the good days. When everything's going right, it's easy. Like, it's easy to achieve what you want. But where we need to look is the bad days. Now, the bad days, because they happen, and think about, okay, how could we make them not so bad? And this is the way we can do it. So rather than having that kind of all or nothing, that, it's all going wrong, so I'm just going to fall off the wagon and do absolutely nothing, and then the next day, just thinking about, okay, what's the minimum we can do on those days? So for example, if something happens and you have to do an extra shift at work, or one of your kids is sick or something, what could that be? Could it be like, okay, if things go wrong, I could, if we say in English, if the shit hits a fan, if everything goes wrong, what can I do? Maybe it's, I'm just going to look at my Quizlet sets today. I'm going to spend 5 or 10 minutes when I can looking at my Quizlet sets. Or I'm just going to read one article from The Guardian. Or I'm just going to do half an hour of the Use of English challenge. So it can just be something little that is your minimum viable. Okay? So if we think about it this way, then you're less likely to go to those extremes. And you're more likely to stick with it, which means then the next day you're not going to fall off the wagon, the next day you're not going to fall off the wagon, and the next day. So this can be something really, really powerful for you guys moving forward, to have that plan B, to have that backup plan. So that's what I urge you to think about this week. What's the perfect week that everything's going great, and what's the emergency plan, the minimum viable week for when we have those bad days? And if we have that set up, then what's the expression? Fail to plan and plan to fail, something like that. What is it? I had to go Google it. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Okay, so if we don't plan, then the plan is that we're going to fail. So let me know. Let me know what your minimum viable week is. Put it in the chats in the Telegram group. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on that. And as always, if you have any questions, pop over to the Telegram group and ask me there. Okay, I will see you guys in the speaking sessions. Have a great week. We'll speak soon.